Hey, welcome back. I'm Christy. If you're new here, I am sharing my story with you in hopes that you can see how God works through all of our stories. So, this is going to be part 4. So, if you have not seen the first 3, go back and watch those and then catch up with me later. So, part 4 feels pretty vulnerable for me. There's not a lot of things in my life that I have not shared with many people. Usually I'm a pretty open book. This one, for some reason, I just haven't really shared with many people. So I hope that you will bear with me through this and maybe we can get through it together. But I'm going to talk a little bit more about the ministry my parents started when I was young and what it was like when we left that ministry. So, if you heard in previous parts, the ministry my parents started was called, it was a homeless shelter. It was called Refuge of Hope. And it's still called Refuge of Hope, actually. And it's in Canton, Ohio. And my dad my whole family actually started serving at a soup kitchen downtown called Open Door Chapel. And eventually they asked my dad if he would take it over. And so my dad took over the soup kitchen. And my family ran that soup kitchen for a while. It was going great. And then the Lord laid it on my dad's heart that there was more. And so my dad and another gentleman founded Refuge of Hope as a men's shelter, soup kitchen, all that kind of stuff. When I was young, I always saw that there was a need for women as well. We had lots of single women families that came through the soup kitchen who needed food, but they also needed shelter. And we weren't really equipped at that time to shelter them. And so pretty sure I shared in my other story about how we would bring these people into our home back in the day. But I had always prayed that God would find a way for us to open a women's shelter as well. And my heart was for women and children to be able to stay in that shelter. So fast forward to my dad's alcoholism. When he announced to our family that he was an alcoholic, he also stepped away from that ministry. And if you have ever been a minister's kid or a pastor's kid, you know that ministry kind of becomes your whole life. Like, your whole life is centered around this. And so when we left there, not only did my family life, my home life, feel like it was collapsing, but everything I knew, including ministry, fell apart then too. There were people who served alongside us in that ministry that were like family to us, and then all of a sudden they weren't around. And it hurt. And I don't know if these people, honestly, I don't think they meant it to be like that. But as a kid, I was 16. So as a kid, it really honestly was the first time I experienced church hurt. Because these people who are supposed to be caring about you, caring about your family, and serving the Lord with you, were just all of a sudden absent. And absence speaks volumes. And I don't know if they were absent because my parents pulled away and didn't want any part of being around them anymore, or if it was them pulling away from us. I don't know. But as a 16-year-old, that's how I felt. I felt abandoned. And that did not help the depression that I was dealing with at the time either. So anyway, through the years, I've worked through a lot of feelings about this situation and worked through a lot of healing. But I actually worked through some more healing today, to be honest with you. Refuge of Hope is opening a women's shelter. the thing I've been praying for 25 years is happening. And it is not lost on me how God's still working in situations that feel like they've been dead and buried. Dreams he's given you that have felt dead and buried sometimes just take a little longer to grow. So today I was honored to get to go to the groundbreaking ceremony of the women's shelter that I've been praying for. And being there and seeing the work that has been done down there is just amazing. This thing that my dad started 25 years ago has blossomed and is serving hundreds, maybe thousands of people a year. And it was a really beautiful thing to see. There have been times where I've really questioned if everything that we went through, if all of that was worth it, if the ministry was worth it. It caused a lot of hurt for my family. There's things that people in my family are still dealing with from the hurt that we went through when we left there. And being down there today and seeing this legacy that was built on that foundation that my dad laid was just a beautiful thing. And I was looking around and I can just tell you it was worth every cost. And I'm so thankful that God allowed me to see that today. So, friends, I guess what I'm getting at is that sometimes our stories take a while before we see how God ties everything together. But just know he's still working. He's still working even when you don't see it. So sorry if this has felt a little rambly today. I'm still processing everything, as you can tell. It's very fresh, the things that I've seen today. But I hope you'll join me next time for part 5. I got a lot more stories to tell. See you next time.